Welcome back to the Intersint podcast. This is episode 17. We're getting that out ahead in front. So, first of all, where did summer go?
This is fake fall. I'm telling you this now.
This is. Oh, actually, yeah, I meant to do that. I was like, oh, it's cold now. It's raining. I'm going to put my air conditioner away.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, oh no. The last few times I've done this, I've had to then bust it out of my closet and put it up again.
You won't trick me this time.
I know. I always forget every single year, and every year it gets me.
Yesterday was like pouring down rain, and now it's very nice and sunny. So,
dude, it is okay. For the last 2 nights, I had to turn on my heater at night to go to bed.
I had to do that last night.
Yeah. Where the hell did this cold weather come from? We were barely cruising by with decent weather.
The past 2 days, I had to turn my fireplace on.
Yeah. Also, I had to turn my fireplace on.
What?
I get what you mean. It's an electric fireplace.
Yes.
But that's hilarious to me.
Why?
Fireplaces are like, oh, I'm going to toss in or light it and then let it go. This is, I'm going to push a button and now it's on.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, like you said, now we're back to the rainy season, and that's miserable.
For a week, yes.
For a week. I don't understand it, where it could be gloomy out and you're fine, like going down the road, driving. The instant one droplet falls and hits someone's car, traffic goes down to 30 miles per hour. It's like red alert. We cannot go higher than that. We're gonna die.
And you'll see people. Have you ever as you're driving, do you look into the driver's seat and who the fuck is driving?
All the time. All of the time.
I'll see people clutching their steering wheels and I'm like, why? Where is the rain? Where is the snow for you to be clutching your steering wheel for dear life? As if you're going to be spinning out of control in any second.
There's when I first moved out here, this is when I realized people can't drive in the rain, is I had to go pick up my ex. She was up at the casino, and I went up to go get her. I'm driving, and it's just one of those heavy rains where it's big droplets of water. People were going 20 miles per hour on the interstate. And I felt like I was going 100, 200 miles per hour, and I was just going 50. Weaving in and out of traffic, going around everyone. I'm like, come on, people. It's just water. Just get moving.
Okay, I get half of those people are California transplants.
Yes.
Who don't know how to drive in the rain. But I feel also half of those are people who've lived here their entire lives.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. It makes no sense to me at all. And if you're going to do that, just stay over into the far right lanes and leave all the left lanes open so people can just move normally.
Exactly.
I feel it's a big thing where I'm kind of glad I grew up on the East Coast because...
You grew up with all the other aggressive drivers.
Am I that aggressive?
On a West Coast sense, yes.
Yes, that is very true.
Because I've been on the West Coast my entire life. We're not aggressive. We keep our aggression to ourselves.
You rage inside of the car.
Yes. Yeah.
And you don't really apply that to the gas pedal or the steering wheel.
The first time I was in a car with you, I internally had to hold my breath.
What did I do wrong though? I feel like I go the speed limit.
You do. It's just the way you change lanes is very aggressive.
That part I didn't notice when I moved out here, that people were more welcoming to letting you get into the lane. On the East Coast, you need a sneak attack every single time. If you let anyone know your next move, I want to get into the left lane, people will make sure you do not get into the left lane.
The first time that happened, I noticed I have between 5 to 8 seconds of me flipping on my signal and just oh, here, I'm gonna be moving, you better watch out. You, not even 2 seconds. It's just click, 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 and then you just go.
Click, on.
Calm down.
Most of the time, too, it's I'm already changing lanes and I'm turning on the turn signal as I'm already turning it. It's just, that's built into me from the East Coast.
That's never going to go away. I already know that.
I try really hard to I'm going to signal beforehand. I just can't do it. It's not in me. I'm like so paranoid to not let people know my next move.
Hey, at least when you go back, it'll be easier for you to drive.
Maybe, or I'll probably pick up on habits out here that I'm now going to carry back whenever I visit.
That's true. You're just going to piss everybody else there off.
I can't go anywhere.
I was just going to make that joke.
Everyone's being made to be on the road. And then I completely lost what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, so I'm happy about the fact that I grew up on the East Coast because primarily the rain, yes, and also the snow.
The second it starts snowing here, just stay inside.
The whole state's locked down.
Yeah.
But it's so nice of me having that experience. So people, in that case, people are piled into the right lane. I'm just like in the left lane, just cruising along in the high snow. Like, all right, here we go. Let's go.
A lot of the reason is because I think people don't have all-wheel drive cars.
Yeah, that is true.
And so they're not used to driving in snow. And for the past 5 or whatever years, it's been March and it starts snowing. Back when I moved here, it was March and raining/sunny. No one's prepared here.
No, not at all. Did I ever tell you so back in Pittsburgh, if it's snowing, it wasn't uncommon to just see cars constantly stuck on the road.
Okay.
Like coming to a stop at a stop sign, then trying to go, and then you dig yourself a hole trying to move. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like turtling, like they were turtles just stuck on their back. And though this was the most miserable day of my life, where it was already a bad day. I forget why, but it was just one of those days where it's just a snowball effect. Things constantly going wrong. I go to Whole Foods to get stuff, I guess.
You're not one of those people, are you?
What?
The health freaks.
Back in the day.
Wow.
Well, you know how I do like a yearly goal thing?
But that was recent.
But back in the day, I did that too, here and there. So I did a whole year of eating very, very healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And so for that, I went to Whole Foods a lot. I paid attention to everything I was buying and all that stuff. Which, surprisingly, that was the one year I never got sick. I don't know if there's a correlation there, but... So I'm going down Whole Foods, and I don't know if you've ever had these. The Justin dark chocolate peanut butter cups.
I hate you so much right now. I remember when you first brought those in to work.
Oh, I did. I give them. Okay.
Yeah, you gave them to me.
I don't remember that.
Because I always saw them at the shelf, and I was like, paying $5 for like this 2-pack of like peanut butter cups. I don't want to do that, so I just never bought it.
Yeah.
So the first time, I've always like thought about it. I'm like, I never got myself to do it. So then when you brought it in for me, that was the day you kind of ruined my life a little more. A little more than you already did.
Granted, it's more expensive out here than it was back in Pittsburgh. So
really?
I don't think it was that expensive at the time. Well, plus with inflation and stuff.
Oh, true. Yeah. I mean, back in 2020, it was like $4. I'm pretty sure it's like $6 now.
Yeah, probably. So I was like going for that because I'm like, I wanted a little snack. I have that. I'm going to go for it. Turning down the aisle, and I'm like, I just really want to get one of those bars. It'll make my day so much better. I walk into it, and the lady turns into the aisle, closer to the thing, takes the literally picks up the box of the Justin's peanut butter cups, puts them in her cart, and walks away. And it was the final box. There was no more boxes behind it. And I just stood there like, is there like... Did I do something wrong that the universe just does not want me to have anything nice?
Oh, I could only picture your reaction to that of you just standing there, like staring at like the little space that had the thing.
You spot on. I was just in there like hoping that my imagination could bring another box into reality.
You never asked a worker about it?
I was so defeated. I didn't even think about that, to be honest.
Oh.
So then I'm back home and I walked somewhere else because there's so much snow that driving was kind of like
annoying.
There's no point because of where I lived. It was easy to walk everywhere, even on a nice day. So I never really drove. Mm-hmm. I'm walking back and I see a car turtled. I'm like, okay, here we go. Maybe I did something bad. I'm going to do something good. I'm going to help this guy out. And I go up and I knock on the window. I'm like, hey, do you want me to push the car? Just like, I'll push you out. You can get going. He's like, oh, yeah, I think you like that'd be so awesome. So I'm back there. I'm like pushing his car. I'm like sweating because I'm like by myself trying to do this. He's hitting the tires. I'm getting pelted with like dirty snow and like ice and stuff.
Aw.
And finally, like, I'll get him out. And he just takes off, never says thank you, and just goes. And I'm like covered in all this slosh and like dirty snow. And was like,
Aw.
I'm going home. I'm done.
Fuck the world, fuck people, fuck everything. I'm going home.
As if the like Reese's cup wasn't enough. That was the breaking point for me.
That Reese's cup should have been your side to just go home.
Yes.
Which, that kind of, not the turtling thing, but I'm sure you've noticed it too on the freeway. Especially early in the morning, there's always like cars just abandoned on the side of the
Yeah,
on the shoulder
what is
with
up with
flags
that?
on them. I don't know, because I remember on Thursday I was driving home and I see this truck on the side of the road with its doors open, but no one was around it. No one was in it. So it's like, okay, that's odd.
Yes.
I go back to work, come back home. The car is still there. The doors are still open. And then Saturday, I had to like do something, and that truck is still there finally, but now it has flags on it. So
What?
obviously, those flags mean that hey, like whoever, like state patrol, whatever, alerts them like you need to call some tow company and just take this back to the tow yard.
Oh, I always thought that's what that meant, but I never actually looked into why.
There's usually stickers on residential streets of like this car has been illegally parked here for a few days. Take it to a tow yard.
Oh yeah, we have that here where I live.
Yeah, but that's what the flags are for freeways. And it's like, why do people just abandon their cars like on the middle of the freeway? I don't understand.
It's crazy that you bring that up because it's the same thing. There's a car along my route back home from work, and it's always been on the side of the road. I don't think it has a flag, and the back window is like broken out. So I'm like, what happened in this situation, and why is the car just here? I don't understand.
Apparently, the Seattle Times did an article on this because there were just so many people doing it.
You know it's a problem if it's making it into the news.
Pretty much. And so I guess they did a research on here, and then the state trooper responded, and he's like, people leave them because sometimes those cars end up overheating, or there's mechanical problems, or people run out of gas and they can't afford a tow truck.
But that's better because I always thought it's just people who got pulled over and then are arrested or something, and then
That's part of it too. Like people who get like DUIs, they always obviously have to leave their cars on the side of the road.
right. I thought I was the only one who started like noticing this a lot more. Just cars everywhere all the time.
It's always a different car too every day. For me at least. And it's like, geez, either A, how fast for the tow companies, how fast are you working on these things? And B, like, why are there just so many people?
I mean, we said not too long ago that insurance companies have to love this state because of all the accidents.
That's
I'm
true.
sure tow trucks love this state for how many cars they have to get.
I'm sure anything related to car issues, insurance companies, tow companies, anything related with cars, they must love us.
Oh, yes. Which, speaking of, you were talking about like driving and like looking over into the driver's seat to see who's driving the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I found the other day just the greatest, the person I aspire to be whenever I'm older. I'm driving down the lane and this person like comes up and like gets on my ass and then goes over to the other lane and just takes off and then cruises back over to my lane. I'm like, okay, this is normal driving.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started to slow down, or they got behind someone slow. So I got into the other lane. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to get around you. I look over to see a little old granny who can barely see over the steering wheel. Like she's just like barely looking up over the steering wheel, cruising at like 85, 90, just going in. I'm like, yes, this is what we need more of.
If I make it to my destination alive, great. If I don't, whatever.
Yeah, it's either way.
She
It's
lived a
coming
long,
soon.
healthy life.
Yeah. I mean, it's either A, this is gonna get me, or time's gonna get me. Well,
Pretty
both
much.
are, yeah.
Both are acceptable at this point.
Yeah. I guess not all old people drive slow, which is funny to me.
Okay, no, it's either they drive slow or they drive like her. And there's no in between.
There really isn't. It's you go 30 miles under or 30 miles over. There is
Pretty
no
much.
speed limit.
Guess which one I'll be when I'm older.
Oh, you're definitely gonna be the speeder.
Yeah.
But with how much her eyes barely cleared that steering wheel, I'm like, I'm sorry, I gotta do it. I imagine it's when you're older and you're trying to drive.
What the fuck?
I'm sorry. I was trying not to bring in the height thing again.
Mean.
I was trying not to.
No, you didn't. You were not trying at all. You were waiting for to make that joke.
The first time I ever rode in a car with you, I was death gripping the like handlebar above.
I remember that because I questioned you about it too. I'm like, "What are you doing? I'm gonna get you there safely. Don't worry."
I was terrified.
Mean.
You slowed down a lot.
I've slowed down only because I got caught twice doing 10 over the speed limit.
Twice?
Well, caught technically, but like once was like 10 over the speed limit. The other was like 4.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, I do remember that. Oh yeah,
The
you had
first
to go to classes.
Hey, I was under 25. It's not on my record anymore.
I forgot you had to go to classes for safety, driving safety.
That was so torturous because I was 20, like I was literally a month away or something like that from being 25. Everyone else in that class, 18 or 19. I felt like
you were the old person. I remember I didn't let you live that down at all.
No, you didn't, and you still don't.
I forgot about it up until now.
It's exactly, yeah, you're not letting me live it down anymore. Hey, it's not on my record. And then the second time, I was doing 10 over the speed limit because I wasn't looking and I was just angry that people in front were just still going like 15 past the school zone. Like, there's no more school zone. You're still going 15. Go the fucking speed limit.
Yep.
And so that guy in front of me turns and I like book it to get to like at least a higher speed limit, not realizing there was a cop car there.
No.
He pulls me over and he's like, he looks at me and I like have this innocent face on. Oh, he doesn't look at me.
That's what you turn on the puppy eyes and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm just a little girl.
I'm just a little girl. Hello, officer.
What did I do wrong?
He's like, it's too early for this shit. I don't want to give you a ticket. Do you promise just to not speed? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, you can go. I'm like, yes.
Knowing damn well you're gonna hit that gas and take off immediately.
The second I made that turn away from his line of sight.
I surprisingly have never gotten pulled over. I probably shouldn't say that out loud because we've already established that the universe hates me at every second it can.
Yes.
But yeah, I never.
If it's one thing you have luck on, it's driving. For one reason, I don't know why.
That's very true. Except for getting into crashes.
Elaborate.
I never told you this.
There's a lot of things you haven't told me.
So back where I grew up, pretty much like yeehaw land. There's always deer around. I went through
what?
Deer.
Oh,
What did you think I did?
I heard dare.
That's probably just my
Your Pennsylvanian accent.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyways, there's those creatures running around.
No, you say it with your chest. Say it with your chest.
No. And
Yes.
I went through 3 cars just on that alone.
Deer hitting you?
No, me hitting deer.
I was gonna say same thing, but it's not. But okay,
Well,
go ahead.
yeah, it's not like I'm sitting at a stop sign and they run into the side of the car or something.
Okay, well that happens too, so I wasn't sure.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, I never knew that. Yeah, it's just either like driving to school in the morning or driving somewhere back to Pittsburgh. Yeah, it just run out and then boom, hit the deer and then totaled car, no more.
Need a new car.
Yep.
Wow.
Which I remember one time I was driving home from work and I'm almost to my house and then a deer jumps out from the opposite side. So I'm like from my left and a pickup truck smashes the deer coming towards me and the deer gets bounced up over my car and onto the other side.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, you just saved me so much from this deer.
Oh, poor deer.
Yes, but at the same time, it was just a nuisance of how many there were. It's not like here where you see one maybe every other year.
True.
Yeah, there's just every single day you saw them. But I had a thought the other day. How chaotic would things be if we never invented a measurement of time?
I think about that every now and then.
Really?
Of like, if time never existed, how would we know technically what time of day it was?
And how, not even time of day, like I think with the sun, you could tell like, okay, it's about here. I understand
like
that.
using sundials, yeah, you could tell.
No, because even sundials were measurements of time.
A form of time. Oh, okay.
So like if we had none of that.
Huh.
Because my thought was like, when we schedule this for the podcast and stuff, we always have a time set. And I thought, what if we never had time?
How would we know when to record?
How would we communicate that to one another of
when the sun is in this position?
We will record at high noon when the sun is directly above us. Because especially getting a job or something, what would they say? You need to be here before the sun rises.
But that's like with months too, or like the calendar and all. Imagine if we never had that either.
That, I never thought about that part of it. Yeah, we would never know, like...
Because there was a time there was no calendar.
But then what would you say? Because, like, would you still call them a day? Not knowing what a day was?
I mean, you'd kind of know what a day was, right?
It'd be like, oh yeah, in 5 sun cycles, I will see you over in this area.
I mean, I guess.
Could you imagine us trying to survive with no calendar or like time at all? You and I would be the first to like be so lost, not know where we're going.
Just existing.
Just with our memory alone, it'd be like, oh, in 3 sun cycles, let's meet up at like this trail to go hiking. It'd be like a year later, and we still are like, when was I supposed to meet up with her?
Or like you're counting and you lose track of where you are. Wait, was that the second sun cycle or the third sun cycle? I don't remember.
Has this been 1 sun cycle or did we do 2? I can't. Did I fall asleep at all? Did I take a nap?
Oh, man.
Imagine that too. Like if you take a nap, you wouldn't know where you were in the calendar.
Right? Especially if you did the thing of like just sleeping through a day.
Oh, yeah. You'd be screwed completely. I'm now wondering like why, like how that was.
Why was the calendar invented?
Probably for this reason, to keep track and so everyone can be
like,
on the same page.
How?
Have you ever thought about that? Like you just seconds in a minute, minutes in an hour. It's like, who came up with this and why?
And then like why? Like why is there 60 seconds in a minute? Why can't there be 62 seconds in a minute?
I'm sure.
Why did it have to be 60?
We already have so much chaos with the imperial system. Let's just throw more chaos into like how we count.
But that's like with the words too. Like, why are certain
don't get
words...
me started on words.
No, because I was like, we were having this discussion at work yesterday, and in my head, when you're texting somebody, you like obviously like abbreviate certain words to like something shorter because you're either lazy or like that's how you type or whatever.
Not me, but you, yes.
Well, I'm just lazy. Either I'm lazy or I'm trying to be funny.
Yeah, you started doing that the other day.
What did I say?
Really shortening up your words and doing like how about you would be HBU.
Really? I did that?
Yes. And I'm like, is this a bit she's doing right now? Is she trying to get me to like call her out on it? I don't know what's happening.
Okay, with you, I do it to be funny.
Okay. And that's what I assume so, but I'm like.
And that's the same thing at work. Like I do it to be funny.
Okay. And I was going to call you up and like, we'll see how long it goes for.
But like, for like, please, I'll be like PLS.
Okay.
And then at work, we're on Discord and like, to like the guys, I'll just be like, I'm lazy. I don't want to type it out. 4 is the number 4. U is the letter U. Like, I just don't want to type. But the other day I was like, hey guys, we have like we call them lunch and learns. And so I was like, hey guys, we have sandwiches coming in. And then one of the other guys was like, oh, from where? And so I type in those both like restaurants and I say POS, like POSS, as in possibly.
Oh, I would never would have gotten that.
Really?
At all. No.
Wow. Okay. Am I the only one who does that then?
You have to. If you type that, I'd be like, piece of shit, something, or like So I would imagine you say that, and then you're just adding an extra S, and I'd be like, what is the extra S that you're trying to add?
Wow. Okay. Maybe it's just in my head then that I just thought it was possibly.
Do you know anyone else who does this? Or are you just trying to shorten words and hope that it sticks?
Maybe it's just that. Maybe you're just shortening words just because I'm so lazy to type it all out.
You know what you need to do?
It sticks.
You need to just start going all in on this and just shorten all the words and just see how many people can figure out as you're typing.
Is she having a stroke?
Pretty much. You might have to think about it a bit more, but like, just find words and just start shortening just to mess with them.
Because like there was this one other kid who like I have words. You already know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
But he'll be like, what's POS? And so my other coworker would just start typing out all these different suggestions.
Just like, No,
like he typed out all these different suggestions, and I guess my other coworker knew what I was talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, at least one person got it.
Yeah, I was very happy about that. And he's like, nope, try again. And then eventually he just asked me what I meant by POS. And I was like, possibly. He's like, oh, okay. And just went back to his desk. I'm like, dude.
I just saw an article of how like millennials and stuff are like, yeah, Gen Zs are coming up with way too many words too quickly that we can't keep up with everything.
Is it Gen Z or is it Gen Alpha?
I think Z, because they're the one, like the Ohio thing, and
that's Alpha.
Oh, is it?
Skibbity, Ohio, Riz, it's all Gen Alpha.
Oh.
Gen Z is lit, fire, bet, cap.
What age does...
I was having this conversation yesterday. Okay, first of all, let's preface this. I went hiking. My body's wrecked right now.
You're destroyed.
I'm trying so hard to keep it upbeat and be like alive right now.
Right before we were starting, like we're like, I'm getting all the audio stuff set up and ready to go. And I look over and you're just like eyes closed next to your microphone.
I told you I was conserving my energy, and I was. Look at me now. I'm so upbeat. It worked.
You're in standby mode.
Yes. But we were having this conversation yesterday, like on the drive to the hike, of when does millennial end and Gen Z begin? Gen Alpha begins 2010 or 2012, one of those 2 years.
Alpha starts at 2010 or 2012?
Mm-hmm.
Holy hell. That shows how old.
I'm at the very end of being millennial.
Yeah, you're in the middle, the gray area.
Yeah, the gray area of being a Gen Z and a millennial.
But that just makes me feel so much more old. Because in my head, Gen Z is the younger kids.
I feel old. You're ancient.
I'm dirt. Because like in my head, it's like the kid, like Gen Z is like, oh, the kids. But yeah, I guess they're like growing up now. So now we have one more generation before them.
Gen Z is like in the workforce now.
Holy hell.
Gen Alpha is like entering high school, I think.
What? Oh my God. Where's the time going?
I might as well just be dead now.
I need to start working on my will. Start looking into caskets, I guess, because...
Hey, if you can be just like me, just get wrapped up in a shroud and dumped in the dirt.
There you go. I remember back when I was younger.
You looked into your caskets when you were younger.
No.
What the fuck?
Hey, I may have been a weird kid. I was not that weird.
Hey, I don't know. I don't gauge your level of weirdness because I did not know you as a kid.
I forget how the conversation even came up, but I pretty much made the statement to my family, like, oh yeah, if I were to ever die, just do whatever. I don't care what you do with my body. Just if you want to dig a hole in the backyard, do that. Dump me somewhere. I don't care.
Wow. So your personality didn't start like recently.
What is that supposed to be?
You were like this as a kid too.
Yes. Wait, what do you mean like this?
Not giving a shit about anything.
Oh yeah, that's...
Did you just give up on life like at 5 years old?
At 5 years old, I'm coloring my coloring book and the crayon broke, and I knew at that point it was over for me. There's no recovering ever. Life is meaningless. As I stare at the red crayon broken into pieces that represents my blood inside my body, no longer pumping.
The fuck? Jeez.
It's like poetry mode right now.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
A skeleton.
I want to be dead. Oh, that's what I think. That's the one thing I saw on TikTok this morning of like a compilation of like parents filming their kids on like their kindergarten graduation and like the teachers being like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And like a lot of kids were like, I want to be a worker at a Waffle House. I want to be a unicorn. Oh, to be that age.
Did you ever go into the subreddit kids are fucking stupid?
No.
Is the great. It's pretty much that clip that you just said. And the dumbest of dumb kids. That and kids falling over are two of the greatest subs ever.
Or like, I just saw a video of cats hitting kids or babies. And that one TikTok made my morning.
Wait, cats hitting... Oh,
Cats
I think
hitting babies.
I've seen them with like rapid fire on the head.
And the kid's just like...
What just happened?
What?
My YouTube Shorts feed has been nonstop, just cat compilations now.
Good.
I don't know how it took me this long to get to that point, but I'm now at that point.
We're at full circle. Millennials started the internet with cat memes.
Pretty much, yeah.
We're back to cat memes.
We are. The cat things will never go away.
No.
Ever. I also, speaking of shorts, I just saw one where a guy found a buried treasure, like on a beach or something. It's not like you would think, but it's hidden behind like a rock, and you move the rock, and inside was this metal canister filled with, what was it, 500 Roman coins or something like that?
Okay.
We don't use that currency, but I'm sure it's worth probably millions at this point.
Take it to Antique Roadshow. They'll price it for you. That used to be my show as a kid.
I loved Antique Roadshow as a kid. To the point where I would go around looking at all this stuff around my house like, oh, is this something that we could take?
Every time we'd hit up garage sales, I would be like, what's the most expensive looking thing here so we can put it on Antique Roadshow?
I still do that.
Really?
I'll go to like, I don't really go to yard sales as much, but like going to a thrift shop or something. If I see something that looks like it could be a lot of money, I'm pulling up Google and I'm doing research to see like how much is this actually worth.
You take the moral, not high ground, but the moral path to a get rich quick scheme.
Kinda, yeah. I mean, there have been stories of people who get rid of stuff that have no clue how much they're worth.
Like it's in their attic or basement or whatever.
Yeah.
And they go to like a thrift shop or like price it out or whatever, and they find out it's like thousands of dollars. And I'm like, my family hoards junk.
Can we start hoarding the expensive stuff?
Why can't you people have been more interested in the expensive looking stuff?
There's a hoarder at my apartment complex.
There's a hoarder at your apartment.
Yes.
Why?
And the only reason I know this is because at night when I have the dog out, they have their blinds open so you can see in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I try not to look, but like for some reason it caught my eye. And there is just boxes upon boxes in the entire apartment. And I thought, okay, maybe they're moving in.
Okay, that's going to be my first comment too. Yeah. Like maybe they're just moving in.
This has been 5 months now, and it's even more boxes than there were before. I'm like, oh no, this is like a hoarder.
Given where you are, that's not a surprise.
It's really not. Dude, during COVID, I don't know what happened, but I never talked about, I don't even think I told you about this. I guess the apartments were desperate for people to move in, so they just let a lot of people move in.
Mm-hmm.
That being a lot of drug dealers. I was outside with the dog, and I saw people walk up to this other guy. He came out onto his balcony, handed them a bag, they gave him money, and they walked off. And like, you gotta be kidding me right now.
Oh, wow. We need to get you out of there.
I've been here for way too long.
Yeah. It's a good thing that I can't visit in the daytime.
And if it's like the sun goes down by the time you leave, I'm always sure to walk you to your car just to be safe. Like I've had people talk, like I always carry a knife with me, and people have asked me like, oh, why do you carry that to go to your car and stuff? I'm like, you don't know where I live. I need to carry the knife with me to get to my car just in case.
Did you also do that back in Pittsburgh too, or no?
No, I was fine.
So the whole knife thing is just when you moved out here?
Yeah.
I always thought it was just way back.
Kinda. I mean, it kind of started towards the end of me living in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Because it started to get to that point where at night, like I said, I was in an area where you could walk anywhere within like 5 minutes. It was so nice. I loved it. And my girlfriend and I were walking back home. And for some reason, I had this weird feeling. And I looked back behind me and there's like a guy a couple blocks back, whatever. keep walking, look back, and he's kind of a little bit closer, but he's still like right on us. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna turn here. We'll turn at this next block. We turn and then look back, and he comes up and then turns with us too. Now it could be coincidence, but it's just that weird feeling like something isn't right. And I think at that point I may have had a knife for some reason, and I reach in my pocket and I grab it, and I'm just holding it at that point because I'm like, I think I'm gonna need this here in a second. And then I think he saw me reach in my pocket, and then he like turned around and walked back and went the opposite way.
Wow.
From that day on, I just always carried a knife. And I used to have a stun gun too.
Okay. The longer we go on with each episode recording this, the more I find out more and more things about you that I didn't know. I recently found out you have a machete. I did not know that.
Oh, anyone who's listening to this, if you own a machete, leave it in the comments. I want to get a poll on this going because it has come to my attention that more people own machetes than I thought. I own one. A bunch of people in my department own one. And it just it's turned into this huge debate of who actually owns a machete and who doesn't.
Wow. And you never told me.
I thought you knew. I'll show you.
No.
Next time we hang out, I'll show you.
You better. But now, you have a machete. Now I find out you have you did have a stun gun.
Well, I still have the stun gun. Did I not show you that either?
No. You're just hiding things from me now. Fucking hell.
It's a stun gun flashlight. I showed you this.
No, you didn't.
I could have swore I showed you this.
I would have played with it and hurt myself if I did.
Okay, that's probably why I didn't show you it. That's a good point. Or I'd take the batteries out and like, okay, now you can play with this.
Play with it.
We know how you are.
It's like one of those memes of like letting my little brother play with the Xbox with us, but taking the batteries out or like giving him a calculator or whatever.
Exactly.
But now come to find out that you own a whole fucking arsenal that I don't know about, and now I'm scared.
It's not a whole arsenal, just a few stabby things.
Exactly.
And a stun gun.
Exactly. Arsenal. In terms of you, this is an arsenal.
That's true. Well, I guess there's worldly topic of me being odd. What was the weirdest thing you've ever done as a kid? I'm sure you have a ton of stories. I do too.
I'm blanking so much right now. I mean, we all know I used to close my eyes and pretend I was blind. I was a horse girl. You
were. But was it like extreme?
I used to run around the apartment on all fours sometimes.
Okay, yeah, that's a little weird.
Thank you. To the point where me and my friends, we'd have like little toy horses and we'd like set up a little racetrack and like pretend that we were racing horses. This was when I was like 7 years old. Give me a break. Yes. I was a child. I was a baby.
That is true. It's not like you're like 15 and still doing that.
No.
Do you know there's competitions like that?
Of what?
Teenage girls or whatnot are running on all fours and going over obstacles like they're horses.
Wait, what?
You didn't know about this?
I didn't know this.
I think it just happened to pop up on Reddit one day under like the cringe subreddit. I will have to show you the video.
Yes, please.
The weirdest thing I ever did, I don't know why I remember this very vividly. Do you remember the Animorphs books?
Yes. I used to read those books like my life depended on it.
Me too. I had a good amount of them too. I don't know what happened to them.
I used to read Animorphs and Magic Treehouse.
I don't know Magic Treehouse. Which one's that?
The one with two little kids who had like a magic treehouse that transported them into like different eras of time.
Okay, that kind of sounds familiar. Maybe I did read that. I don't know. But in the Animorphs books, one of them, there is a character that like closes his eyes and like telepathically communicate with another character. I remember we were doing a spelling bee and we had to stand up in front of the class. Like we were standing in a line, all these kids. And when you got one wrong, you had to go sit down. And it was whoever the last one standing was. This one kid, I think he was my friend or something, was trying to spell a word. And I'm like, I'm going to help him right now. And I closed my eyes and I tried to telepathically talk to him and tell him how to spell the word.
Oh.
So yeah, that was my embarrassing kid thing that I never told anyone until I just told everyone on the internet.
I'm trying to think of like a school moment.
Well, school moments, yeah. I mean, I don't really... And that was whenever I was, like you said, very, very young that I remember that. I don't remember anything from whenever I was older.
I don't remember anything from the ages probably like 5 to 12. I don't know. There's like a few select memories.
I thought you were going to say from 10 to current day.
Speaking of kids and trauma, I was talking to my coworker. She's just right across from me the other day, and we were talking about like she's really like happy that school's about to start, so she can finally have the house to herself. I'm like, it'll be quiet, and she doesn't have to deal.
Get rid of the demons.
She was telling me about like her water bottle, and how even when they have their water next to her water bottle, they'll always take a drink out of her water bottle instead of their own.
Of course.
And she gets so mad about it. And she's like, you guys, yours is right there. Read your own.
This is par for the course for having kids.
To the point where like she started like scaring them and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, if you do this is going to happen. And I'm like, oh, wow. She's like, trauma. It's good for the kids.
Good for the soul.
It builds character.
If you wanted to, like, just put alcohol in your water bottle, and then they're gonna take one sip of it and like be grossed out, and then that happened to me. Did I tell you? Oh, geez, this is gonna.
As we go on with this podcast, there is more and more I know about you that I've never learned before.
There's so much that I'm realizing, like, oh wow, I can't believe this. This explains a lot, actually.
We're gonna uncover your entire personality by the end.
Probably, yes. I was running around the house, or we were visiting somewhere, and I was running around, and my dad had a can, and in my little dumb kid brain, cans always meant soda. Like, that's what it was. So I'm like, oh, I'm thirsty. Can I have a drink? And my dad just gave me his beer. Knowing full well.
Knowingly?
Yeah, he knew it was going to, like, gross me out. And I'm like, oh.
Tastes like this.
And so I took the giant gulp thinking it was a soda, spit it out everywhere, and just, I think I started crying too because of how bad it tasted.
Oh.
But, I mean, the positive side of that, I never drank a beer again after that because that the taste traumatized me so much.
Aww.
So I guess it was a good parenting tactic.
I guess, yeah.
Like, that taste and that experience will always be burnt into my brain.
The bad, not influence, the bad action resulted in good parenting, so it cancels out.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Sure.
Also, I came up with, or I discovered something that kind of like as a joke, I discovered this. Did you know that they have vapes for pretty much everything now?
What do you mean?
So this started as a joke between some friends of them saying that they need caffeine. I'm like, oh, just grab a vape out that caffeine. We got into the conversation of, oh, I wonder if that's possible. Like, you can create a vape that has caffeine in it. It turns out you can. There's a company that, first of all, is not just caffeine, but they do have these like coffee drink things that you inhale through a vape.
Okay, first of all, let's get this out of the way. We're not endorsing this. We don't support this. If you are a child, if you are a minor, please don't. Right.
This is as if vaping wasn't bad enough.
Let's keep you away. Aren't there certain things that you just shouldn't have to inhale? Caffeine being one of them.
The only thing you should be inhaling is oxygen. That start and end of list. Oxygen is the only thing.
Oxygen, and if you're into it, what's it called?
Weed.
Essence.
Oh. Incense?
Essence? No. Like the lavender and like the chamomile. Like
smell. Essential oils?
Yes, thank you.
But that's a scent. That's not really...
Yeah, but you're inhaling it. You're breathing it.
Well, yeah, but that's like saying you're inhaling poop whenever you smell a fart.
You're poop.
But I did the research on it, and one entire can is like one entire vape.
Cartridge.
Yeah. Cartridge, like from beginning to end, is still not enough as a cup of coffee.
So you'll have to have like multiple just for 1 cup of caffeine.
You'd have to smoke like 2 cartridges full to get to 1 cup of coffee.
Oh,
At that point, just drink the coffee.
right?
That's just the healthier option. I just think it's ridiculous. Like, we don't need to try to make.
It's Big Smoke, not the artist. Not the artist Big Smoke.
Jeez, now we don't need a defamatory suit against us now.
Not you, Big Smoke. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't listen to your music, but I think you're cool. It's big, big narcotics. There we go. Let's do that. Big narcotics.
Big nicotine.
Big nicotine. Who wants to keep smoking? Cool.
I think it's just one of those things of we see vape as healthier when it's technically, I mean, in a sense it is, but very minutely.
Okay, to be honest, if vaping was my sort of thing, that vitamin D one just sounds really good.
Why?
We don't get that.
Just go stand in the sun for a minute.
Do you know where you live right now?
I'm looking out my window and I see sunshine everywhere.
That's not enough for us, buddy. That is not enough for us.
We need to get one of those sun lamps.
Ooh.
I know you
sun
would
heat
like
lamps.
That. Yes.
Just put me in a little terrarium at that point.
We should have human-sized
Tyrannosaurus.
Why can I not say that word?
Terrarium.
Terrarium. I was trying to add an N in there somewhere. Terrarium. Dude, we should have that. That'd be cool.
Ooh. A greenhouse. Have you been inside a greenhouse?
What? Well, technically, I guess yes. You would thrive in there.
Yes, I would thrive in there, but what's technically?
Technically, a greenhouse is a giant terrarium.
I asked if you've been inside one.
Oh.
Like, what the fuck is technically? You're in or out?
Probably whenever I was younger, I remember some people having a greenhouse. I don't know why, but I was in there and it was hot as hell and I didn't like it, so
humid,
I left.
Yeah.
How about you?
There used to be a conservatory back in San Francisco where I used to live. And the entire building was pretty much a greenhouse. If you look it up online, we'll put up a picture on Instagram, but that entire thing is a greenhouse.
Huh. That's a giant greenhouse.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, it's so nice in here. And then the second you get out, it's like, you could feel the freshness of the air the second you step outside.
The crispness.
I'm like, oh, this is better. I can breathe.
That's like the first time I ever took off my mask after COVID. And I was outside and was like, is the trees always have this scent in them? Like, I can smell nature. This is insane.
I love this. And then you got sick.
And then I got sick.
Nope, the mask was back on.
Yep. Don't you dare take that thing off. Put it back on. All right, well,
we should wrap this up.
That's going to do it for this week. Be sure to rate, comment, subscribe. Go follow our socials at Intersint Pod everywhere. Well, I've been doing terrible at these endings lately. I don't. We're gonna see.
Rate, comment, subscribe, follow us on social media at Intersint
I said that.
Pod,
I said
on
all
TikTok
this.
and Instagram.
You don't need to repeat it.
We will
said all
see
this.
you next week.
Bye.
Bye.